Here we go, episode 42 uploaded coming at you, and another interesting weekend of Kentucky Derby preps and Kentucky Oaks preps now in the books, and we look forward to what's coming up here next. But before we move on, let's go back and take a look at what happened. We had a really great weekend as our selections came through and our handicapping finally made sense. The way that we thought the races were going to play out actually is the way that they played out in all four of the major Derby and Oaks preps. First up, weekend winners. Tistastic did exactly what we thought he was going to do, and the race set up exactly the way that we envisioned with our handicapping in the Louisiana Derby. We expected John Hancock had to go to the lead. Yinzer had to put some pressure. Veloso had to put some pressure, and I expected Built to be closer, and he was. Now, Built moved, did the best he could. He's not good enough. He's finished. Chunk of Gold, impressive. I can't see the horse winning the Derby, but the connections have already won. Like, they've already made ridiculous amounts of money on that very meager purchase, so he's already running great. Congratulations. He's going to be in the gate for the Kentucky Derby. Hopefully he gets a piece. If he wins, that's even better. Good for them. But Tistastic looked fantastic and looks like a horse that's going to be able to get better as they continue moving forward. John Hancock was impressive because Built passed him, and then John Hancock passed him again to be fourth. So, interesting race, but Tistastic was great, and we got our money, and we feel really good about that. We played a pick 3. It helped us out. I'd rather be blessed. Good cheer, all that stuff. Speaking of good cheer, we knew good cheer was going to run well in the Fairgrounds Oaks. We thought Ahava would be in there, and they ran 1-2 in the exacta, so that worked out for us as well. And then, of course, we want to talk about the other runners. So we had the Bourbonnette, right? And then we had the Fairgrounds. But the Bourbonnette was at Turfway, and we had the horse that was cross-entered. And I said, if that horse goes to Turfway, Bless the Broken wins that race. If she goes, to the Fairgrounds, she's not beating Good Cheer. Nobody's beating Good Cheer. So, Johnny V, they go to Turfway. Great job. We get the money there. $15 and change in that situation. And in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, great job there from Final Gambit. I would not pick that horse at all in the Kentucky Derby. But the horses that I selected, Baby Max and Poster, they ran their race, had great position, just not good enough. So, pew, you're gone. And that means we got ourselves a brand new top 5 of Journalism Sovereignty. Obviously, they stick around. Tistastic is the new name there. Remember, Tistastic was in our initial Derby top 5, but he wasn't really running the way I had envisioned, so I had to drop him. He's back now and looks like he's going in the right direction. And I feel like Sandman is the exact same horse as Tistastic. He runs the exact same race. So he could be in position this weekend to retain this spot in the top 5 and, of course, move up on the Kentucky Derby qualifying points leaderboard. The only horse that's really in jeopardy on this top 5 list is Citizen Bull. If we get to 2 weeks from now and Citizen Bull, 1, does not get out on top in the Santa Anita Derby, 2, doesn't carry the speed, 3, doesn't fight in the stretch, 4, doesn't win, then he's probably going to come off of the list. But that's going to throw this entire picture upside down. It's going to be what we call cattywampus, because it's not going to make any sense. And so now we bring ourselves to what's happening this weekend. Another weekend of major Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks prep races where your winner gets 100 points immediately. They're at the top of the list. They're in the gate for the first Friday and Saturday in May. So we take a look at what's really going on with our runners here, and we start with the big race of the weekend. $1.5 million Arkansas Derby coming up Saturday at Oaklawn Park. There are more races this weekend. We'll take them one race at a time. So we'll start with this race here, and we'll take a look at what's happening with our entries, all right? This is the field as they get set to go a mile and an eighth. And I love it when stuff like this happens, right? Everyone's talking about the Bob Baffert horse to the outside, Cornucopian, and the ridiculous speed and class and professionalism that he showed breaking the maiden on that track there at Oaklawn Park. So I love that Bob does this, and I don't know if anyone else does this. You know, D. Wayne Lucas used to do this, and what he would do is he would take his lightly raced horses that had shown really, really intense ability and talent and precocity and say, hey, I'm going to throw you in the fire. And if you can handle this, then you can handle what's going to happen on Derby Day. If you can't handle this, then I don't have time to move forward with you. We'll find some other spots. And also, I think Bob, this is my opinion, he might see things the same way that I see things or other handicappers. There is no speed like Baffert speed. No speed. I don't care who you are. Owen Almighty, John Hancock, Speed King, those horses, they cannot mess with Bob Baffert's speed. Just forget it. The horses that Bob Baffert has that are fast, they have to have a whole lot of trouble, right? A whole, like Gaming did when he went to Oaklawn Park. They have to have a whole mess of trouble to not be out there on the front end. So we know with Johnny V in the irons, Cornucopian is going to break on top in the Arkansas Derby. The question is, do the other speed horses have the balls to go with them? Speed King, Rafael Bejarano, you better grow a pair, bro. You let Madaket Road take you out of your game completely. You have to get the lead. Don't be afraid of a sprinter stretching out, but that's what's going to happen. The riders are going to be afraid of a sprinter stretching out. They're not going to want to get cooked on the front end. Well, if you don't go with that horse, he's gone. So now you're putting the pressure. If Speed King doesn't get out on top, there are only two other horses with a remote chance to do anything. Best Friend Rocket. For the coach, Nick Juarez did a great job with American Promise. He got out on top, stayed close to getaway car, and then took over in the stretch. Well, he'll have to do the same thing with this horse, Best Friend Rocket, even though the horse is not fast enough. And then the only other horse that can even be close to Cornucopian is Coal Battle. And I think he might get cooked. But here's the thing. If Coal Battle can break on top and hang close to Cornucopian and beat this horse, Coal Battle automatically becomes your top 1, 2, 3 contender for the Derby, because he's shown the ability to do some things and be versatile in his running style. Now, here's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Cornucopian to pop out of there like a horse on fire. And then I'm expecting Coal Battle to immediately try and get position. And I'm expecting Rafael Bejarano to not be weak. And he's going to pop out of there and go with those runners. He has to. He has to. When that happens, Best Friend Rocket will also be up there in the mix. And those four horses will be close. Now, they won't be challenging Cornucopian. He'll have the lead to himself. But they'll push him enough. And then we'll see if his pedigree can take him through the distance, because he's not really bred for the long distances. If all that happens, it sets it up beautifully for Jose Ortiz and Sandman. This is a runner I mentioned before is basically just like Tistastic. They've been in some of the same races, and they've run pretty much the exact same race. They sit, wait, turn, here we go, right? And so they should be in a good spot. Sandman is comfortable with that track. He's been there long enough, so he should be in the right position. So after taking a look at everything that's happening with this race, we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to go ahead and make our pick for the Arkansas Derby. It's going to be Sandman. And he should be in the right spot. He should do the exact same thing that Tistastic just did on a different track, even though I know the stretch is longer at the fairgrounds. But I think Sandman will get exactly what he needs, and he'll be in a beautiful spot to make something happen. All right, that's the one race we'll focus on here today. This weekend is going to be outstanding. Major Derby and Oaks prep races coming your way from Oaklawn and Gulfstream Park. And then, of course, we got our Turfway Park picks and plays throughout the week, because you just need to hit one at Turfway Park to make it all worthwhile. So that's how we start our week, and hopefully we'll end it in the same place, talking about weekend winners and making money, building the bankroll, and, of course, enhancing our confidence, feeling better about not only our handicapping, but how this Derby and Oaks pictures are starting to take shape. Derby is kind of wild because we're running out of legitimate speed horses. Remember that. If you don't have pace in the race, it's going to be a War Emblem situation where the horse is gone. So we'll see what happens with these horses coming up in the next couple of weeks. All right, that's going to do it for us here today. In the meantime, in between time, and until next time, I'm Ken Rudulph here on Horse Race Bets. We made money. Let's do it again this week and this weekend. And until then, good luck and enjoy whatever you're into.